I'm Patrick Bailey with whiteboardcoder.com. Today is September 12th, 2015, and I've started to learn a little bit about sewing, and today I'm going to be going over the ladder stitch. Now, there's other people who are a lot more qualified than I am to teach ladder stitch, and I'll link to their videos in this, but I want to for people like me, I want to help explain how the ladder stitch works and how it kind of hides the stitches, because conceptually I looked at it and didn't quite get it, so now I just want to share kind of what I figured out about it. I remember watching the movie Coraline, and in the intro to the movie, the other mother, the villain in the movie, she's sewing this doll. And while she's sewing it, she does a ladder stitch. See, there it is right there. Now, it shows her, she pulls it tight, but not all the way tight, so you can actually still see the threads there on the outside. And it looks like she's doing some kind of sewing magic to get this all working, but as it turns out, it's not that hard. It's a little advanced, or what people say is a little advanced, but it's not all that hard to do. And to get it to pull tighter so the threads are hidden is kind of the purpose of the ladder stitch. And I'll do some drawings here and try to explain what's going on as best as I can understand it. Before I dive in, here's a link to a video on how to do a proper ladder stitch made by Wendy from shinyhappyworld.com. I will link to her video again at the end of this video. Okay, here's how the ladder stitch is working as best as I can figure it. Now, what I thought before, I thought that it was doing some strange ninja move by, piercing the thread through here, and then piercing the thread through here and coming back, and piercing the thread and coming back, and so forth. So it's underneath the ridge. But that is not what's going on. What's going on is at some point it comes up through here, hits the ridge, pierces the ridge, and then right as it pierces the ridge, it goes to the other ridge, and that's your ladder. And then you pierce through and you go down into here slightly, and you pierce back through the top of the ridge here, and then you make a ladder to the other side. And here you pierce down to the ridge, and I'll try to do this best I can, and then you pierce back through the top just right on the ridge, and you come across again, and you pierce down, boom, and you pierce back through the ridge. So you're just going along the ridge here, and I'll go under again, I'll just go longer here, and then come up through the ridge again, and then and then pierce back down. Anyway, you get the idea. So that's where you get the ladder, but you can see it's only piercing the fabric right along the edge, along the ridge. And your first initial thought about that is when you pull it tight, you would just see these tiny little lines, your little tiny threads. But I think what actually is happening here, so let me get rid of those for a second. So here's a side view of the ridges. So we're only piercing through here, but let's say you're all done. And so now you've got these ladder stitches here, and you start to pull it tight. Now these ridges, they're kind of pressed and folded, so they're kind of creased right there. And I think as you pull it, what's happening is you start pulling it straighter here. So now it's here, and they're getting closer. And as those ridges get closer, you get a little bump right here on the top, just slightly. And as they meet, and this may be an over-exaggeration, there's a bump right here. And so, because of the crease, and so now you, for the most part, can't see your thread, because the fabric there has a little bump to it, and it's touching each other, and it's being pulled tight. And that makes sense to me as a mechanical engineer, that's probably the case. Because as you pull these things, all of a sudden they just disappear, rather than just seeing these two come together and just seeing a little bit of a line, you pretty much don't see any. Anyway, that's my take on trying to understand the ladder stitch. Okay, on to actually sewing something. So here I made this little pillow here that has some cedar wood chips in here. It's kind of a scented pillow. I'm following this how to sew book right now. But what you could do, and this may be a little different than what she did. I forget what she did at the beginning. But I know she did this at the end. So to try to hide this at the beginning, I can come up through here. And I'm aiming for the edge here. The edge of where the ridge, that's what I meant to say. The ridge here. So I come up through the ridge here. And if I pull it through, I can keep pulling this thread. And it'll disappear.
But now onto what is actually the ladder stitch. So Wendy's video is going to be a lot better than this. You can probably refer to hers. But what I'm trying to do here is to kind of make the rungs of a ladder. So I go to the other side here. I go through. And then I stay on the other side, but I come up, but I'm staying in the ridge. Then I come up over here, and I pull it through. Don't pull it too tight, because it's at the beginning here. Oh, got it wrapped around.
Okay, let me pause the video here for a second. Now, having done this ladder stitch a few more times, I kind of rethought how I started this. Now, when I started this, I stuck it all the way through, got it through the ridge, and then I pulled the thread into the pillow so it disappeared. Now, having done this a few more times, I think I would have left that thread long outside the pillow, still probably pierced in the same location, and then started my thread, and as I got 2 or 3 stitches, then I could have pulled using that thread on the end, and then stitched the whole thing up. Then when I was finally done, then cut that end thread and pull it into the pillow.
Okay. And then now I'm going to make the ladder rung on the other side here. So I go on the other ridge. Right there. So now I'm on the other side. And then I come up. So I'm on the same ridge on the other side. Then I come through. And pull it. Not too tight yet because I don't have that many pull all the way through. And then now I do the ladder rung. I go to the other side. And then I come up and go through, but I stay on the ridge. So you can see I'm on the ridge and I pull it. And then I make the ladder rung. I go to the other side and I go through the ridge right there. I'm sure there's some probably better technical sewing term for that, but I'm not a technical sewer yet, so I'll just call it the ridge. And I come up, so there I am, I'm on the same ridge. And then I go across the other side. And then I stay in the same ridge. Now I do the ladder again. There we go. And make the ladder. And go up to the ridge. Stay in the ridge, there we go. She got cut there. And stay in the same ridge there. And now as we pull this, you can see you can kind of see right now you can see the white threads there. But as you pull it, and I may not do the greatest job here, I probably should have pulled a little earlier. It starts to pull together. Okay, I didn't do a very good job here at the front, but you can see right here where it's pulled together, and you can't see the threads. Now down here you kind of can, because I probably didn't do a very good job. But as you pull it, they kind of pull together, and the threads face each other, and then they disappear. So you really can't see it if you do a good job. Now I'm not doing the best job here, but I'm sure as you practice this, you get better and better at it. And there we go, and along the ridge. I think I probably should have pulled a little tighter there at the beginning so I didn't have this exposure. Okay, now let's say this is the last one we're going to do. And this is what Wendy did, which was pretty cool. I hadn't thought about this. So you want this to disappear, so you just come down here into your fabric and come out. And pull it all the way out. And then pull it tight. And we can see I did a pretty decent job right here, so you can't see the thread. But down here towards the beginning, I didn't quite do a decent job, and you can see there's the white thread right there. That's just a matter of me probably being a novice. But now what she did, she pulled it through right there, and she cut it right about there, pretty close. So you still got a little bit of thread sticking out, so you just kind of pull it out, and it's gone. And then you kind of have a hidden stitch. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, now I've got a little bag full of cedar chips. But that's how you do the ladder stitch. I'm going to put a link here again to her video because she'll show in much better detail than what I'm doing. But I just kind of wanted to help people out who maybe are engineers like me and trying to understand what the concept is and what it's doing with the ladder stitch, where it's pulling both the sides together, and so you can't see it, but you got to sit there and you got to stay on the ridges, and then the ladders go across. Anyway, I hope that's helpful to somebody.
Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a like. To subscribe, just click the subscribe button. Also, you can follow me on Twitter under the handle @whiteboardcoder.com. View any code I may have thrown up as a gist at GitHub under the username PatmanDenver, or check out my blog site at whiteboardcoder.com.